Okay, hopefully this is up and running. I think I have everything working. I think I have things working. Oh yeah, that's an echo. Close that, close that. How is everybody doing this evening? All right, let's get started here. Just trying to get all my windows squared away. And we will fire up Lightburn and we will get to it. What has everybody been working on? Any projects going on? Anything stumping you? Just making sure the chat works. A couple things I've been working on. So I had mentioned 2 weeks ago that my power supply was dying. So anytime that I had the laser hooked up to this power supply, which was sent to me as a replacement for the first unit on my longer 40 watt B1, if the power was anything greater than, at first it was 90%, and then it dropped to 80%, and then finally I was on about 65%. And if I can only use 65% of the laser, that's no good. So this was slowly conking out, and this is 24 volts, 9 amp max. And Jack in the shop had recommended a Meanwell power supply. So I'm not going to take this apart because this is plugged in right now, but that is what I got here. And he did suggest I 3D print a enclosure to just go over the front of this. So that is what I did as well. I'll probably reprint one or maybe design one on my own because I like how the way this goes together, but I kind of want a full enclosure so I can mount this over here on my wall and up and out of the way. So that being said, this is actually running perfect. I did run my test run, and this was my cut piece. I haven't done a carving piece, so I may get a piece of scrap wood and just set that up right quick. Everybody's got scrap, right? The first thing we're going to want to do is home our machine. So this is good to know in case anytime you get a new laser or something, you want to do these few new test grids. I would recommend doing one on cutting and one on engraving. So we just want to make sure we choose the right laser. So this is my laser bed for my longer. It is connected and it is automatically homing here, which is nice. Oh, should be homing. Why isn't that video working? Let's take a look. Device is sleeping. All right, my device went to sleep. Let's see what we've got here. Okay, It's awake now, and we are going to go into Lightburn and do this test. So we go up to material test, 10 by 10. We're going to go to a preset. We're going to go to diode engrave test because I've already done the diode cut test. And we are going to do border settings. Now I am gonna want a border. Enable the border. And based off of this cut setting, where are we at? 1500 by 95. Actually, you know what? Let's just go 100. Okay, now I don't want the power. Minimum power, maximum power. I don't want the max power to be two of my last engraved test boards. I've got it over here somewhere. That's not it. Okay, last time we did this on the longer B1. Oh, hold on. Did my cameras just die here? What's going on? I think this one froze now. That's weird. I don't know why these cameras are freezing now. There we go. That was really weird. Okay, so the last time I did my test cut on the longer B1 with the original power supply, I had my power max was at 100%. I don't really want to go 100%, but it will give me a decent test. So yeah, let's just leave that. Let's frame this up on a laser. Let's drop the laser down a little bit. We'll get this kickstand out. I had it up because this weekend, or yesterday, I engraved a quick gift for somebody. It was their birthday. And usually what I do is I keep all my scraps, my walnut, maple, things like that. I usually make those scraps into little bottle openers. Makes a good gift, and I just have those made up and stuck to my beer fridge. And then as the events come up, I can just take one off my fridge, put their name on it, and there you go. You got a nice custom gift. Okay, let's start this up. All right, so this is just the test pattern for the diode engraving. Like I said, you really should do this for the engrave test and for the cut test anytime you upgrade your machine. So I just upgraded my power supply to the Meanwell 24 volt, 14 amp power supply. Now the machine will never try to pull more amps than it needs, so it's just way more machine than I need, so it won't cut off. Got to get my fans going. Let me get my light. All right. So what else is everybody up to today? I've got all the video recorded for the upgrade for the power supply here. So if you have a power supply on your laser that's going out and you're a little hesitant about replacing it, I'll show you how I went through the process of replacing mine. It really didn't take much time, maybe 15 or 20 minutes, and that was just figuring out which was positive and negative on the round bullet connector, and then wiring everything in. I think the enclosure that I printed may have taken 30 or 40 minutes to 3D print, but you can always set that up the night before. Or you don't have to use a surround. I just like the surround because it keeps, I'm going to have dust, and I don't want the chance of maybe a tool or something hitting those open terminals. All right, so it's already done the grid. Now it's doing each box. It's going to start with the lowest power and speed, and then it's going to ramp up to the highest power and speed. Let's see here. You might be able to zoom in on this. Oof. Hopefully that doesn't look too terrible when it's zoomed in that much. Oh, I could show you the bottle openers I make from my scrap. Yeah, so these are those bottle openers, and I just take whatever scraps I've got, and then I inlay that bottle opener with a couple of magnets. This is one of the original ones where I didn't have great magnets, but I found better magnets on Amazon. They actually have a little screw through the center of them, and that's much more secure than this, but I mean, this will work in a pinch. And everybody that has a wood shop or any sort of shop, you probably have your bucket of scraps, and it's a good use of those scraps. And the other thing that I do, let me get this tracking on. There we go. Now I got this tracking. And the other thing that I have, I don't know if I have one or not actually. I make QR codes. I think I gave them all away. Let me see if I can find a piece of scrap here. Okay, I found my scraps. So these are the scraps that I've got that are pre-glued. So I will glue these up into a much larger brick. And then once you run these through the planer, and then it turns into something manageable like this. And I think what I'll actually try to do now is usually these square ones or rectangular ones, I'll sand these down and I make these into little QR codes with my channel on them. So I'm going to try that today. And I'm going to see if this can actually cut this out. Let's see how thick this is. This is about 14.5 millimeters. You might be able to cut that out. Last time I had the laser going, I was able to cut this. This is walnut, again a 40 watt, and this is 12.3 millimeters. So I'll probably be pushing it with the 14, but maybe we could do it in 2 passes. You know what, too? Here, I'm going to just get this on the sander just a little bit, because there's a little bit of glue here. So while this laser here is going, getting that test grid pattern in, I'm just going to sand this one block down just a little bit, just so it's good for finishing. Okay. And note to self, when using 80 grit sandpaper, do not hold the small piece in your hand, because you will take a chunk out of yourself. It's fine. All right, so now we have our piece, which is, let's see what this is. This is 57 millimeters by 70 millimeters. 57 by 70. So let's see what we can do with that. Well, that's pretty small. All right, let's go get the YouTube channel. WilmerWoodWorks. We're going to go up to that selection tool, and we're going to go up to tools. It should be create barcode, which we don't want a barcode. We want a QR code. Put that in there. That should be normal. And we're going to go low. Okay. And let's put this on. I'll leave it on that. Change this to fill. And then we're going to change this outside one. Let's just choose 9 for that one. Okay. Let's see. What can we put? Maybe follow us or something. So that's our QR code. Center align this. Okay, let's move this up just a little bit. Holding shift. Let's see if we can get the YouTube logo. All right, we're going to right click and hit trace. Sketch trace. Okay. And that's not the best. So let's see, we should be able to just get triangle. That. That's close enough. Oop. Delete that. Escape. Select. Ungroup. Delete. I'm going to go ahead 2 in there. We're going to center this. We're going to group this back together. Move that down. And we will put that on the fill. Select both of these, holding shift, we'll just move that down. All right, so now we got the YouTube logo. Maybe I should fill that. let's duplicate this. Let's just make this, say YouTube, or let's say follow. All right, I'm going to align this. I'm going to group these two together. Select everything. And I'm going to center that. I'm going to hold shift. I'm just going to move that down a little bit. Now this is the size of what we have. I'm going to duplicate that, excuse me. We're just going to make this a little bit smaller so it cuts it out. So we want the first line to make this a little bit smaller too. All right, so now we're going to have this as a cut. Nope. That is, well, it's making, it's fine. All right, so we got our fill, we got our cut, and then this line will just be the outside. So this one, yeah, that's fine at 20%. Our cut, we're gonna want this very high. So this was the original engraved test. This is my new cut test. Let's say 100% at 120 maybe. That'll be our cut, and we'll just have to see what our engraved looks like as soon as it's done. So let's see how that's coming along. Not looking terrible. All right. So again, if you're just coming in, I worked on a quick design for a little piece of scrap wood that I had laying around. I usually take these offcuts and I glue these up and I make bottle openers with them, or I make these little rectangles that are too small for bottle openers, and I put a magnet on the back and I put my QR code for my YouTube channel. So then when I give it to somebody, I can throw it on their fridge right next to their bottle opener. And I think on this cut here too, what I might do is let's go here and go to shape properties. And let's just round this corner a little bit. Just to ease it off. What's going on? Hippie Blade? What's up, Dave? Right? Yeah, it has been a minute. Just trying to get some work done. Lasering and cutting. What have you been up to? All right, this is starting to get to the, it's like 60, 70% power. I'm not quite cutting through yet. Taking in the knowledge. Yep. Tell you what, man, if there's a way to make money on the internet, let me get this other fan going here. All right, as soon as this is done etching out, it will cut out along the border. I just got to keep an eye on it to make sure it doesn't punch through, because this is only 3mm ply. So once we start getting to 100% and only 120 millimeters per minute, it's definitely going to start punching through. And what's going to be nice is, since I have this older test grid, we're going to be able to compare. Oh, look up there. Look down here, yay, we're going to be able to compare. Now, this was when I originally got the power supply, and that was the 9 amp 24 volt power supply. So now we're running off of the 24 volt 14 amp. Let's get these glasses off since this is getting to the end. Yeah, it's almost punched through. Oh yeah, it looks like it's actually starting to catch on fire too. I may have to stop this early. So right now it looks like it's doing 2000 at, let's see, it's doing 2000 at probably about 60-70%. Yeah, it's definitely a lot deeper than the original was, because the original kind of died out around 50%. Let's see, this went from 10 to 100. Two more lines, and then this is complete, and then we can run the test pattern on our little giveaway, and we can put our magnet on the back. This is just a test, since I've got the new power supply. my old power supply had died out, so I got to run this test pattern to see what settings to use. But the file I'm going to run after that test is done is just going to be this QR code that goes back to the channel. So I'll put it on this piece of scrap, and then I'll put a magnet on the back so I can give it away. Oh, and this is starting to catch fire. It's like this is the last. No, it's got one more after that. And then it's going to cut. Yeah, it's doing some damage though. So right now it's running 100% power at 10 millimeters per second. No, 2000 maybe. There we go. All right, let's take a look. All right, so my cut settings weren't right, but it's just the engrave and the test so we could see. So these are the power settings for the new power supply. And this was the old power supply. So this is the new one. You can see how it's punched a hole in quite a few of those. So we'll use this as our new guide. We'll throw this one away since this is the old settings. So these two are the newest ones. These two are the older ones. So we'll get rid of all of those and we'll go with these for future cuts. So now I'm going to get this blank put in the machine. I'm going to raise the laser up. And drop it down on that kickstand so we get our height. Now with our height locked in, move that kickstand back up and out of the way. We'll move our honeycomb bed back to the front of the machine. We're going to home the machine. And I'm not sure where this is ending up here, so we're going to move this whole entire thing over. I'm just going to frame this out. All right, actually, let's move this. All right, so now let's get rid of this blue layer and we'll frame it again. Okay, so this should be perfectly aligned here. And let's see how long this is going to take. We go up to the little computer screen and then we can do the preview. All right, so let's preview this right here. So go to the software, and up here is our preview screen. So this is what we're gonna run. We're just gonna run the name, YouTube logo, follow us, and then the QR code, and then this red line will be cut out after. And if we hit preview, this will give us a representation. So this says it'll take about 7 minutes, give or take. I do just want to check my cut layer again. So I got this at 120 and 100. And I may want to actually just bump this. So if you double click on this layer here, you go into the layer properties. And right now I have 1 pass. I'm going to go to 2 passes just so we do get that correct. And then on here, I got bidirectional fill. So it's going to go one way and then it's going to go back the other way. Or the crosshatch. So click OK, and let's see how long. This might double our time. Yeah, so that's 14 minutes. All right, let's just turn that off for now. And check our engraving. Based off this engraving, I do want it dark, but I don't want it to get blown out. So, and I do want it to go pretty fast. So it's 6,000. Let's say maybe 60%. 60%. We do want constant power. Click OK. Preview that. So 8.5 minutes. Because I got the two passes on the cut. Now, even though so yeah, it's going to do the fill first and then the cut. So we'll start this up now. And there we go. So you do always want to just make sure you keep these. So I've got, this is my speed and power for the cut, and then speed and power for the engraved. So I'll just keep these two together with the machine so I know what it'll look like on 3 mil. And it looks pretty decent on others as well. So this already, I can see it's burning a little bit, but a quick run with 120 or 220 sandpaper will clear that up really nice. I'm curious about the cut though. All right, let's see. Lost my mouse. There she is. All right, let's see. If I go back to the laser, let me go to the laser software. And zoom this out a bit. You should have presets set up. So let's see. Well, that's pretty good. At least you can see it somewhat. So I do have my top hood running. I've got a couple of fans. I'm in a garage with a large open door. So I make sure that everything is nicely ventilated and circulating. I do have air assist on, so it is moving that air off of the workpiece. But again, it is having a little flashover, so I'm going to have to just touch that up with very quick sandpaper. And I've got my 6-inch or 8-inch, well, 6-inch. I got my 6-inch orbital sander. Just run that over real quick when it's done, and then put a little bit of butcher block oil on that, and it really makes the grain pattern on the walnut and the cherry pop out. And I guess I could have put this piece in there the other way around, so the name would be in the maple, but it is scrapped and it's just my QR code. Some people may not want that even on their fridge, so. It's tough because it is going from the maple to the walnut to the cherry. So having those three different woods together, it doesn't give you a very consistent burn. Yeah, it's into the cherry now. I can smell it. And it's almost done with the QR code, it looks like. Getting to the top of it. I have had the issue with my machine after I run a job and the machine homes. When I try to run, if I try to run the same exact job without touching the material, it's always off a couple of millimeters. So I'm not sure exactly what that's about. Maybe there's a problem with my one of my limit switches. And I am in talks with a couple of people about sending me some lasers for sample and review. So we'll see. I might have a couple of new machines to test out in the near future. I got one that's a very entry level small machine, and then another one which is a larger CO2 platform machine. So we're going from beginner to intermediate to advanced. But with the CO2, that allows you to engrave on acrylics and metals as well. So I can engrave on metals with this 40-watt diode. I could do like tumblers and things, but the CO2s and the RF CO2s are much quicker at that. So it'll only take about 4 minutes to do a tumbler. All right, looks like it's doing the YouTube logo right now. Yeah, just finishing up the top of that. Now it's putting the name across, which is okay. I mean, it's a little bit underneath that top piece of maple. It would have been nicer if I had moved it up a little bit, but again, it is scrap, so it's fine. All right, now here comes the cut. It's crazy. Since it's cutting so close to the edge, I can pretty much see where the laser is stopping. And I'm glad I set it up for 2 passes because it looks like it is about 3/4 of the way through that piece of wood. And that was 14.5 mil. Oh man, that's crazy. I gotta get my phone out so I can get. You can see exactly where that's going through. That's just wild. It is burning a little bit, but that was to be expected since it's going so slow. And again, we're at 100% power, and the power supply is doing beautifully. The fan is on, which is expected since it's drawing more amps now, um, but it's not kicking off. So now it is more like the machine that I got when they first sent it to me. And they did send me this machine for free also. So, I mean, I am very grateful for that. That's why I didn't really press them for another power supply since they've already replaced it once. It's just wild how how that's going through there. Let me see if maybe I could zoom in on it. Let's see. Yeah, it kind of pixelates because of my camera. But you can see where it just stopped. Now this is starting the second pass. And yeah, I could see where it's hitting through that honeycomb. I am worried about the burning on top though. Hopefully it's not charring too much. Now this is actually the first time I've tried to cut this out with the, oh no, we're on fire. Yeah, that was some burning right there. It's that air assist. Let me turn that off. No, it doesn't matter. We are definitely charring now. Surprised the machine hasn't gone shut down because of the burning. I think because it's set to so slow. So I probably want to increase the speed, leave it at 100%, maybe do 4 or 5 passes. Yeah, I definitely wouldn't want to set it up like this again. Too much burning. Yeah. Yeah, it's a little warm. All right, so that's what we got. Like I said, there is a little bit of burning, so I probably won't have this cut this out again. Let me get my chisel on this real quick, and I'll run this on the 120 sandpaper. All right, so having that cut out was not the best thing, but that's why we test these. So I wouldn't do that again because it just turned into a mess. And even after I sanded it down, it came out okay. That's with one coat of that butcher block. I gotta scan it with my phone to make sure it works. Yeah, if you catch it at just the right angle, it works. But then it goes to the YouTube channel. So scrap wood into little QR codes. Again, I wouldn't have it cut this out, but the engraving worked well. I'd probably try to do the engraving on one solid piece of wood. That usually works out a little bit better. And maybe if there's like a little bit more gap under here, I should have made this a little smaller. But I guess worst case, I mean, I can always just sand this all the way down and start over again. See what other kind of scrap wood we got. Got a piece of walnut. Let's give this a try. Just see how many passes we need to cut through this piece of walnut. All right, so let's see. All right, let's try something simple. Just a box. Let's take this, remove this off the grid. All right, so based off of our cut, 100%, 120 was not good. So let's speed it up a little bit. Let's go 1,000 at 100%, and let's do 4 passes. Frame that out. Again, let's move this over here. And let's make this 15 mil by 15 mil. Frame that. And let's try that. All right, now we got 8 cuts. Twelve cuts. Well, that didn't even make a dent. Yeah, I moved it a little bit though. All right, so let's try something else here. Well, this piece has like a little rabbit in it, so at least I can see when it's starting to go through. Let's change this to 500. Let's start with 8 passes and see what that does. Well, that went through. Oh, that was almost there too. All right, so 500 didn't do it. Had 8 passes. Let's dial this back just to 200 and let's go to 10 passes. I just don't want to worry about this thing smoking again now. All right, so that's 1. That's 2. I feel like 3 passes will probably get it. right, I'm gonna stop it there. I think it's 4 passes. See, that was just putting off way too much heat, though. Yeah, see, that's almost half, 3/4 of the way through that board already. All right, so that's 2 passes, and that punched through that board already. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking, but I'm not sure. I know I've cut through walnut before on this, but I didn't write down the settings. Well, that's through. All right, so it's doing 10 cuts right now, so I would say maybe 8 would have got it. Yeah, it's is cut all the way through. So I would say 8 or 9 would have got it. But you can see the burning on the back here. Starting to start a little fire. Yeah, that is properly charred. And again, it didn't. Oh, crap, I better get that before my shop goes up. Ah. I mean, it didn't help also the fact that I got this little ledge here. I was just letting me keep an eye on it. So I'd say 8 or 9 passes probably would have gotten it. And if I didn't have that air going through, that probably would have been all right also. So let's try it somewhere where that gap is not. Let's see if we can adjust. Cut through, unpause, auto read. So what are you working on these days, Rob? Anything good? Um, I had that one piece. There it is. We just worked on a QR code earlier out of scrap. Tried cutting this one out, but that did not work out too well. And I updated my power supply also. So the power supply that came with my machine is a 24 volt 9 amp, and it kept dying. It's one of these almost like a laptop kind of power supply. And was it last week or the week before? Jack in the shop suggested the Meanwell. I'm not going to pick it up right now since it's running, but I wired in my Meanwell to my laser, and it's running out well. YMCA Little Village, nice. Yeah, I got to get into making some signs. I've got OM Tech is talking about maybe sending me something to try out, something they're working on. So hopefully, if they send that over, I can try to start working on maybe making some acrylic signs or whatnot. I've tried to do acrylic with my diode, and I can do some acrylic, but I can't do clear. I've been able to do like green and woo-wee. Yeah, that's charring again. So yeah, I know. I've cut acrylic on on this diode. This is the 40 watt. God damn, that's hot. Whew. I'm gonna go put this on my driveway so this doesn't catch fire. Acrylic is weird. It depends on what color you're using. I don't know if I still have the sheets. So I don't think I have what I actually cut out, but this is orange, and I was able to cut a carrot, and this was the green for the stem. So both of these were able to cut on this machine. The white, however, did not. I tried to cut my son's name. Ah, come here. and it did not cut that white out. So really, like black, you could probably do black, no problem. But the other colors, yeah, you can't do that. And then I found these things. These are from Rowmark. Uh, Hold on, I gotta turn this AI off on this. Where's my mouse? There's my mouse. All right, I'm gonna turn AI tracking off for 1 second. Okay. There's this material, Rowmark Laser Max. This a diode can definitely cut because it's very thin, and they make this where it's multicolored, so it's black on one side, and it's just got the very top layer is black, and then there's white underneath. So you can do this. I've done this with no issue on my 40 watt. I've actually done it on a 12 watt, but it takes forever. Let me try to think of where I was getting that from. There's a company that sent me a sample pack. And I can't remember now. But yeah, this Laser Max stuff. Let me see if I can look it up. Rowmark Laser Max. Oh, now I can turn the AI back on, right? Let's see. Let's Google this here. Google. JP Plus. That's where I got it from. All right. So let me so this stuff here you can use on a diode, and it'll actually tell you on their website. Hold on, I got too many screens. Here we go. So these are the color combinations and the thicknesses. But right here is their little thing. This will say CO2, front engravable, rotary. Somewhere on here it will say diode laserable, suitable for users with diode lasers. So you can do this, and it just takes the very top layer off, and then you get the bottom layer. So you can make signs out of this. This brass and gold. These are pretty cool. And then the aluminum look, and it's all plastic. It'll just give you that brushed aluminum on top, and then it gives you that black underneath. So you really can get that nice lettering with the diode. CO2 is, of course, your best choice, but if you only have a diode, that I'd recommend looking into these sheets. They're not cheap, but if you reach out to them, they will send you a sample pack. What's going on, Jack? I gotta show you something. Look whose laser's not shutting off now because I got a new upgraded power supply. 100% power, no stoppage. It was super easy to wire up. I recorded a video, so now I don't have to worry about relying on my old power unit. Got that one cranking, and yeah, I ran the cut test already, so I got that going. And I ran my engraving test just today. So I got that going too. Obviously, you don't want to be engraving at 100% at low speed because it will just punch holes. But I'll keep these by the machine, and now I'll have these set up. So what have you been up to, Jack? And we also took a piece of scrap and we made a little QR code. I tried to cut it out. That's why it's a little wonky on these corners. I don't think I'd try to do that again just because it kind of caught fire a little bit. New X tool reveal. All right, let's see what the new X tool reveal is. Is it the laser, the printer, the metal fab, or the DIY? Oh, it's not even on the site yet. What is it going to be, a laser? So I had X1. So I had this company reach out to me here, Carverall. What machine? It is not working out of the box. Look at this thing. Looks like an X tool almost, or a We Create. Got the nice little insert pad there. Got the nice little protective thing that goes up and down. Does not connect to my computer. Had a firmware update that got hung up 3 or 4 times, and now this is just a brick. So I've been back and forth with the company, and hopefully they get it resolved or ship me a new one. But as of right now, I cannot use that. It's just a paperweight. We'll have CO2 diode, UV, and fiber all in one unit. It's gonna be like 10 grand. The X1. August 27th, that's today. Oh yeah. See, I don't have an X tool, so I have no idea. Have you ever heard of OM Tech? OM Tech. This company here reached out to me, so I'm excited about, hopefully this works out. These machines look a little bit better than that Carverall. I think it's this one here. Yeah, I'm in talks right now on this one, or something similar to this one. So we'll see. I don't know if it's the RF or the glass CO2, but I haven't used the CO2 laser in 10 years. Got a built-in camera and everything though. 28 by 14, decent size. This one, I think this one can cut clear acrylic. I mean, it's not terribly large. They call it their desktop unit, but it's still 3 feet by 4 feet. I'm not sure which one they're going to send. They didn't really want to give me any details on it. It was like pulling teeth. I hope it's the RF one that they send, because it's like 30,000 hours on machine time opposed to the 10,000 on the CO2. What the next project I've got that I've got to take care of is, I went online on Thingiverse and I found the print file for this enclosure here, which I really like. Which way I gotta go? This way. So I like the way that it's holding the cords and everything. I don't have the bolts that are long enough to go in here yet, but it doesn't really attach to the sides. It's supposed to, but it's like a little off, maybe a millimeter or a hair. I tried shaving it down with a file, but I think what I want to do is I want to make a bigger one with a little bit of a standoff, because running that, the little bit that I did, the back side of it's a little hot. But if I put some standoffs, then I can actually just attach it to the wall and allow it to circulate. But I mean, it worked out well. 24 volt, 14.6 amp. I just butchered the first power supply that they sent me. Ooh. Yeah, I hope so. Like I said, it hasn't failed me yet. I had to do a little bit of research on figuring out which was the positive and the negative on the circular pin, but that wasn't too difficult. But yeah, it's going to be my new go-to. Well, hopefully I don't need it again, but if I do, I'm definitely going to use it. Let's see what other kind of machines this guy. Oh, they got fiber lasers. Why didn't they send me a fiber laser? So many choices for lasers they could have sent me. Yeah. Well, the other one, the original power supply they sent me would power up, but anytime I went over 70% power, it would cut off. So if I ran at 60% power, it was fine. But as soon as I went above that 70% power, then it started, and it was gradual. So first it worked at 100%, and then I had to drop it down to 90%, and then 80%, and 70%, and then it was going around 65. So I don't think it's the outlet. I think it was the power supply. All right, so we've cut a couple of squares. We've done our test, engrave, and our test cut. We did this little QR code. I think really that might be it, because it's, what are we at, 7:40? Been on since 6. I'll give it another 10 or 15 minutes, but honestly, I haven't been feeling the greatest the past couple of days, so I gotta get in and rest up a little bit. Gotta finish editing that video. I haven't posted any new videos on this channel in forever. I've got 3 channels now I'm trying to juggle along with Amazon. It's a lot. And I've got to start making some designs so I can start cutting for the holiday season. Have you started gearing up on inventory yet, Jack? Well, that's the other thing I need to do. If they send me a CO2 laser, I gotta check. Yeah. Yeah, you gotta work on your videos so I can watch some of yours so I learn how to use Milmage. License management? Okay, so I've got Pro. So the Pro allows for the CO2 lasers, right? And I've also got Milmage, and I think I've got the Pro on that as well. I may have to download the new software, though. I think this is the pre-release. Yeah. Well, yeah, because you have those catch-all trays that have that little little tube, right? That little glass piece. So what I've been doing is I've been cheating. And if you find them on sale, you go to Hobby Lobby and you get these, and they're usually like 50% off. and I pick up a stack of these guys, and that I just put their last name initial and then write their last name through the front. So it's like a little key drop. But those sell pretty well. I sell those for $25-$30 on Etsy. Yeah, yeah. I've got to figure out. Haven't had that CNC machine running in forever. I had to do a couple of the American flags when I first got it, but I really haven't touched it since, which is a shame because this one company here sent me this industrial Dremel thing. Which is it's very cool. It's got a little foot pedal and it's like a flex shaft with the Dremel wheel and everything. So you can clean up any of the fuzzies or whatnot. And it has all the attachments and everything, but I just haven't cut anything yet. So I got to get out there and start getting those done. Oh, right. That's a good price. Well, you do have the glass in there too, and that's you got to source that. All right. Sorry, I'm just checking out a couple of things here. Uh, do you go to craft shows with those night lights and stuff, or no? You take your carvings and all that? Because I'm wondering what would sell better if I should try to focus more on. Well, I guess I should run both, run carvings and run the laser. Have one, and also I got the 3D printer too. So if I run all three, get the trifecta. Yeah, I did 2 years ago, and it was good. I mean, every craft show I went, I cleared how much it was for the table, and then I'd probably make $500-$600 for the day. I mean, the one I went to, I sold some of my American flags and things like that, but it was at American Legion. That one I made probably close to $800-$900. So it's good if you have the inventory. The only bad part is you have to put together the inventory. So you have the overhead, and then if you don't sell it, then you have it. But usually when I make things, if I don't sell them, I give them away as gifts. Yeah. I don't know, man. I haven't gone wrong with the patriotic stuff. You get like American flags and stuff like that. I mean, you think you even have the American flag with the linemen. If you start doing other American flags with the firefighters or police, you get in with that crowd. As soon as one guy buys it or somebody's wife buys it for them and then tells everybody else, you're in. Yeah. And actually, our American Legion that we have around the corner from us, they have like karaoke nights and different events every night. And then I think it's Sunday night, they have a few bands. And when the bands are there, you're allowed to show up with a 10 by 10 pop up and just sell whatever you want. There's no fee. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know about Etsy. I don't like how much they charge on the commissions. So like their cut and then the relistings and all that. It's just a lot. I've got to get out there and get more things on my website. Well, there you go. Talk to Jack. Jack's got all the lineman stuff. Look at that speed dial, Jack in the shop. Get yourself a meter. Here's some of Jack's products. Nice little catch-all. Glass insulator. Let's see what else you got. Oh, excuse me. My goodness. That's a nice knife too. So what machine did you use on this? That's pretty slick, putting that video on there. Thanks. Like I told you, I've been sick. I'm slowly getting over it. I sneezed so hard today at work, man. I put a stitch in my side. A fiber for the blade, diode for the handle. Now, could you use your CO2 on the blade? See, I don't have a fiber laser though, man. Gotta use what I got. That's slick. Let's see what else you got. I like this one, this vintage. How many of these have you sold? 550 bucks. I want to know how many of these you've sold. Have you? Good for you. Now, does that glass come off? Could you take that glass off of that meter without breaking it? Because if you could, you know what you should do? Oh, it does? That's awesome. I was going to suggest that you try to put like a clock or something in there. But if that spins when you have it plugged in, that's awesome. Oh, shit. Yeah. Where do you buy the meters from? You could just buy a meter? Or are you salvaging these? I didn't know you could buy meters. eBay, gotcha. Yeah, so like right here, this right here. If you took this flag and you made it for police, fire, army, navy, marines, all those military branches, because you can get those military insignias. If you did that, now this is CNC, right? So where you just painted the whole board and then you cut it out and then you finished it. How? Oh, right. Are you selling the digitals? Shit, I'd buy the digitals off you if you have the military ones with these flags inlaid, so I don't have to do it. Paint board and CNC, yeah, I'd have to do that. Oh, that's it. I'm at the end of it. Yeah, because like I said, I do like the American flag, but I've never done the insignias on them. I like the coasters too. What I've done too is if I can't remember if you have a 3D printer or not, but if you do, you can 3D print your holders. So I did a lot of slate before, and then I just modeled this out, and then it just slips right in there. 100 wooden coasters. Jeez, oh man. What I also want to try to do is I've been talking to a couple of guys. There's this one guy in Punta Gorda, a couple of towns over, and I go hang out with him once a Jesus, 5 3D printers. Whew. Bet that little power meter is really spinning at your house. 5 3D printers, fiber lasers, CO2 lasers, diode lasers, plasma cutters. My goodness. You probably don't even know what to turn off when the power goes off at your house, do you? Whew. But I hang out with one guy who does real estate photography. So I want to try to get into the real estate market and make items for realtors to give to the people they're selling the houses to, like a welcome to your new house. Realtor gift laser. I could even make like what do you call it? Yeah, like stuff like this. Real estate closing gifts. That's what I'm talking about. Yep. New home, new memories. Congratulations. Thanks for choosing me. Welcome home. I mean, yeah, these are perfect. And what does this guy charge? Bulk pricing. One pack, square. Oh, just one. No, 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 no. We got on a 4 pack. So $25. Well, that's what I was thinking. So if I get with the photographer and I say, hey, when you're taking pictures of these guys' houses, sell them this custom logo slate coaster thing. And if they buy one for their client, now I'm just selling it to the guy that sells it to the realtor. So where they're charging $25 to charge him like 15. I mean, these coasters are like less than $1 each. I don't know. You'd have to have enough spread in there to make it worth it. But if they're charging 24 on Etsy, they're going to be like, well, why would I buy it from you when I could just buy it on Etsy? But shoot, if I make some of these realtor mugs, something like this with the sold sign and the key, they put that on the key on the lockbox and everything. I like the idea of these slate coasters. That's pretty neat. I don't know if I like the idea of putting the house on it because then you're going to get everybody that wants their own house, and then you're going to have so many different elevations and everything. I don't know what a UV printer is. I've never looked into those. I think these would be a good idea. All right, let's look up UV printer. What is a UV printer? A UV printer is a digital ink machine that uses ultraviolet light to cure or dry special ink instantly as is printed onto an object. Oh, is that an emulsion printer? My wife does something like that. She prints it out. Yeah, she prints it and then she heats it and then the graphic goes on. Yeah, see, I did a whole bunch of coasters and I did ones that I thought were like funny coasters for like a man cave kind of thing. And then I had AI come up with some that were so off the cuff on the designs and I didn't think they were going to sell. And those were the ones that sold. Oh, the UV prints right on on the item. Gotcha. Okay, yeah, no, what my wife does is she'll print a sheet of paper and then I think it's like a heat transfer kind of thing. But she can do metals. I don't understand it 100%. Well, how much is a UV printer? $2 grand. Oh, there's one for 500. Oh, that's vinyl cutting. Right? That's why I like making the Christmas ornaments. I mean, you get a sheet of 12 by 12 3 millimeter plywood that's like a buck each, and you get 4 or 5 ornaments out of it. It's fine if you have a whole bunch of them. All right. Well, it is. Oh, yeah. Like I got that CNC machine that's just sitting there. I got to start using some of this stuff. Nope, don't like that. I like my 3D printer I keep in the air conditioned building I've got, and that I love that you could just let sit for months and then go out, press 3 buttons, it auto levels, auto does everything it needs to do, and then spits me out a coaster holder. And I don't have to think about it. My old machine, man, I'd have to sit there and make sure the first layer was good and everything else. But well, it's about 8 o'clock, so I think I'm gonna wind down here and I'm glad the power supply is working. I'm glad I got my cut and engrave templates now. At least I can use as a reference. And I'm going to try to edit that video of me hooking up this power supply in case anybody else on the channel has issues with their power supplies. And yeah, hopefully I'll get some designs squared away within the next week or two, and we'll get those uploaded as well. If you guys have any last questions, let me know. Otherwise, hit up the school community. And I'm going to try to really get in with one of these realtors. Hopefully I can turn some easy products. Yeah, I think too, if you get these military insignias on these flags, you're going to have gold there. People will love those. I mean, because I like the lineman stuff, but that might be like too niche down where you got to find just the right core of people to, and where are they going to be in one place? I guess online. 330 sales in 3 years. Nice. All right, I'm going to sign off here, guys. Everybody, have a good night. Thanks for watching.